People who are 40 and happy with their life. What is your advice to people in their 20s? Don't marry someone because you think it's something you have to do. The same goes with having children. I've done neither, even though my family has always hounded me to. I'm incredibly happy with where I'm at. I can't think of how miserable I'd be making commitments like those just to make others happy. Put yourself first, people. Get out of that creepy cult while you are young. Live your life free of your parents' cult. I was raised in the Mormon cult. If you haven't started some investment for the future, now is the time. Find yourself a good person to be in a relationship with. Looks will fade, but that personality will be there forever. As you age, your friends will pair off and you will find yourself hanging out with them less and less. They will have kids or move away and you will find yourself either alone or with your partner during 99% of your free time. Humans do not do well being isolated and alone. Finding a healthy relationship is so important and no one really talks about it or just tells you to focus on your career. Having someone in your corner that always has your back will make life that much easier. Find someone with the same goals in life that you do and hold on to. Marry a brain, not a booty. Choose your mate wisely. It should feel like you are spending every day with your best friend that you have fun with. Don't do it for money or looks, you will be miserable. Don't get too much sun, drink too much past early 20s, or smoke that will age you quickly. Invest in good skincare. Don't fall into the debt trap. Make yourself listen to Dave Ramsey on and understand it's better to have $1 million by 50 than a fancy car today with the same amount of money put aside. Eat more veggies and fruit and less meat and dairy through the week. Your body will thank you. I'm 51 but feel like I never left my 20s and went back to school at 39 and started my second life. There is always a day to say I'm reinventing myself. I'm about to do it again. Also, lastly, cut our BS friends and family. No time for users, abusers, or anyone who takes more than they give constantly or verbally demeans you. They will never stop and you will never miss them. Learn to say no now. Set boundaries if this is a problem for you and you resent always saying yes and being the nice person for jerks. Read boundaries, when to say yes and how to say no. It will be life-changing because stress is also a killer. That's my just woke up in bed brainstorming stream of consciousness. Must go find coffee now. Make decisions for yourself. Don't ignore the long-term ambitions for short-term fun. But definitely don't live the life that someone else wants you to live. Every dollar you save and invest in your 20s is worth a hell of a lot more than the ones in your 30s, 40s, and so on. If you are going to spend money, spend it creating experiences with yourself and other people. It's almost been kind of a cliche thing for the latest generation that you should only spend on experiences, but I don't give a fuck about the sound system or computer I had 15 years ago. I do care about the friends that were made. Don't fall victim to peer pressure and settle for a mate that isn't right for you. Didn't find my wife until I was almost 30. And it was totally worth waiting for the right one to come along. If you are lucky enough to have the love of a good woman, support her and she will support you. Two heads are better than one. I don't what I'd do without my ass, so never take one day for granted. Get out there into the world and enjoy it. I'm 45 this year and plenty of my peers didn't make it and wasted their shot. 3 hobbies: 1 to keep you in shape, 1 to keep you creative, 1 to make you money. Stop fucking worrying about what people think. Marry someone you like hanging out with. I'm not yet 40. But I have some ideas. Go on that adventure you want to do. Don't do anything that will put you in jail. Don't do anything that will lead to a baby until you've given yourself time to be an adult for a while. Don't stick your dick in crazy. Don't let crazy stick it in you. If you must, double up on that birth control and make sure you control one of those methods yourself. Don't spend on credit what you don't have close to that amount saved in the bank to pay it off. Keep your daily expenses low to save for that adventure. Network and don't burn bridges. Stay neutral to toxic people, but keep them at a distance. Allow your actions to define you, not your words. Do everything you say you will in a timely fashion and do it well, and you'll be viewed as reliable and it'll secure your friendships and career. If you're suffering from mental illness, don't blast it on social media. Go get help. Don't sign the lease with your partner unless you've been with them for a year. Know your worth and your potential. Save, save, save. Don't put up with abusive, toxic people. Start planning your retirement now. The secret to happiness in life is low expectations. Having unmet expectations makes people unhappy. Keeping your expectations low ensures that they are met more often. Don't confuse this with being cynical all the time. Be optimistic and work in good faith. Just keep your mind in check with how any given event will turn out. My simple advice is to own as little as possible. Having minimal possessions has made me happier and more focused. This isn't about sacrifice or going without. It's about finding pleasure in what I already own. If a friend buys a new jacket, I'm happy for him, but it wouldn't motivate me to buy one. There's a certain zen calmness when you get off the consumption treadmill. Travel early. Before starting a family. Diverse experiences allow you to broaden your worldview, and adds ton of perspective. Work hard. No matter the job, do it to the best of your ability. It pays off. Don't keep up with the Joneses. Live within your means, and when possible saving for the rainy day. Accept that it doesn't always work out in the end. There is no magic balance that says if something awful happens something good must happen later. Not always winning or being happy is part of life. The sooner you find the tools to accept that, the sooner you can achieve your goals. All of the tangible actions mentioned here are reflections of understanding your values. Figuring out what your values are hasten the maturation process. The reason people say go on adventures is because it forces you to understand yourself. And honestly, get off Facebook and Instagram. I can't read this sub without having anxiety on how bad my life is being handled. Do some exercise. Stay out of debt. Learn people's names. It's a good habit and you never know where it might lead. I got lost in a third world country but remembered the son of the guy who owned the hostel was called Pan. Picked up by someone who called someone who knew him. Without having chatted to him and learned his name I'd still have made it back, but it would have been way more difficult travel, and be okay with having the confidence to just live out of your backpack and see where things take you. It really prepares you for later life. Over 2 years I was lost in the jungle, swum between tropical islands, run over hot coals, slept in weird places, worked some crazy jobs and hitchhiked around Asia with a buddy, and it makes you very resilient and good at seeing solutions in difficult times once you're older. Choose a spouse based on this: 80 their moral compass, 10 how much you laugh together, 5 your similar hobbies, and 5 your physical attraction. Partying, drinking has a time and place and it is not every day. Why go off on a great adventure in an amazing place if you are just going to spend all your time getting drunk? You won't remember as much as you could. Pictures are great but memories are better. X200B save, save, save. It doesn't matter so much what you do for a living if you don't have to live paycheck to paycheck. I think what is going on now is proving this more than ever. A lot of people get their future planning priorities wrong in their 20s. Generally I've found people in their 20s prioritize job, relationship, place to live, lifestyle. Really, the people I've found are happiest in their life have done their planning in the opposite direction: place to live, lifestyle, relationship, job. This might seem a bit weird but hear me out. A job isn't any good if you have to live in a place or a lifestyle you hate, or not be able to have the relationship you want just to have it. No amount of money will make up for being miserable. Likewise, a relationship might be great, but if you are living a lifestyle that makes you unhappy, then it will put strain on the relationship and will ultimately make you unhappy. Figure out what kind of life you want and make that the basis of your other planning for the future. Whether that's a fast-paced downtown city lifestyle or a slow country lifestyle or a comfortable suburban lifestyle. Living the way you want will give you a strong foundation for happiness. 1. Don't compare yourself to other people. 2. Be nice to people. 3. Be smart with money. Shit happens. It might happen to you. Embrace it. Be excellent to yourself, be excellent to others, and try not to sweat the small shit. Also, avoid frivolous debt. 70 here. Don't give up your dreams for expedience. I'll give a bit of relationship advice. I had the most success with dating when I didn't force it. I was in a good place in my life and went on dates and met people because it was fun, not because I was looking for a relationship. The times I felt lonely and intentionally seeking a relationship were the least successful times. I'm sure I came across as lonely and needy, which isn't a good combination. Be yourself, make peace with who you are, and focus on being your best self. You'll have much more luck finding someone who wants you to be that best self. Oh. And avoid narcissists, controlling personalities. Set boundaries for yourself. Your mental health is worth it. Trust me. Strive for a small and simple life. The larger and more complicated you allow it to become, the harder it is to reach contentment. Contentment is the goal, not happiness. Try to surround yourself with positive people that motivate you to grow as a person. For me, at least, there is no grown-up endgame. I am a 48-year-old father of 6 and grandfather of 3, and I am continually learning how to become a better, more mature person. Don't buy new cars. Don't buy that house with an extra room. Don't buy anything until you have an emergency fund saved up. None of those things feel as good as not worrying about money feels. X200B 3-bedroom house isn't necessary. An emergency fund is necessary. X200B if you can't afford the house and the emergency fund, that doesn't mean you can't afford the emergency fund, it means you can't afford the house. Emergency fund is non-negotiable. I'm not 40, but I'll answer anyway, 'cause I'm fairly happy with my life. Your self-worth cannot be given to you or validated by anyone or anything outside of yourself. You have to find your validation from inside you. You are the only thing that can make you happy. You won't be happy when that person falls for you, or when you get enough money for that house, or when the crisis du jour is over. These are things we tell ourselves to avoid facing, that we aren't happy. and to put off facing ourselves and our own issues. If you're not happy with something in your life, or within yourself, then change it. Make a realistic goal, then a plan, and take steps every day to achieve it. Don't be too cool to be safe. Some injuries can't be undone. Protect your hearing. Hearing damage is cumulative. Just because your ears don't hurt at that concert doesn't mean you're not doing permanent damage. You don't want to be that 55-year-old person that can't hear, or even worse, have tinnitus. I know a lot of older, interesting people I avoid conversing with because they can't hear me and nobody wants to repeat things over and over. I am 51, I've thought about this quite a bit because my 3 children are in their 20s. Respect yourself. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Listen to other people's opinions but make your own choices. Do not be afraid of following the path that is right for you. Skincare. This is not just for women. Wear sunscreen and moisturizer. I've had skin cancer and it's not fun. Protect your skin and you will look and feel healthier. For God's sake, start your 401k retirement plan with your first adult job. Don't wait. Don't think you can't afford it. You won't miss the money and many companies match your contribution up to a certain percentage. Also, you look amazing and you have strength and stamina. Enjoy it. Smiley face. I didn't have kids. Long story short, we get to sleep in whenever, have more savings than average, a lot of time to dedicate to our 2 fur babies. If soulmates do exist, they're not found, they're made. People meet, they get a good feeling, and they get to work building a relationship. The Good Place. Keep healthy, study, work hard. Mediocrity is okay. Pick your fights for perfection carefully or you will be constantly disappointed. The perfect job, marriage, kids, neighbors, car, whatever does not exist. Time has a way of making you realize this slowly, but as soon as you are able to come to terms with the fact that most major events in life are made of compromise, the better off you'll be. Example: when you're a new parent, you have a very idealized of who and what your child will become. 20 years in and you're just happy that they are a decent human being and haven't ended up in prison. 1. Make more than enough to pay your bills and live how you want to. Fuck that just follow your bliss crap. I know too many actors and artists who are miserable and overstressed because they are broke. Instead, go into a field that pays better and have hobbies that are blissful. 2. See the world and meet people from all over. Don't wait. You don't know what will happen to the place or yourself. Meeting people from elsewhere teaches that there really are many ways to skin a cat and differences are fun. 3. Have friends and acquaintances of different ages. There is wisdom on both sides. Besides, at 54, you might enjoy babysitting your neighbor's kids. 4. And I didn't do this one. Don't get fat. It is very hard to lose it. Find a hobby and meet with people who share it in real life, not online. Don't argue politics or religion with those you love. Neither is arrived to from a place of reason. Love is not often reciprocated. When it happens, don't waste it. If it is not reciprocated, then move on. Exercise every day, at least 30 minutes, and don't overeat. It almost destroyed me in my 50s, as this is the one thing on the list here that I did not do. Save 10 of everything you earn starting today. Before you spend it, put 10 away into a savings account you can easily get access to in a single day. Use a 401k or other savings vehicle if you have that access. Save for the things you want. Don't go into debt except for very large items, a house, etc. If you buy a car, get a used one. If you want a new one, plan on driving it for 200k miles and pay it off quickly or finance it at 0. Save to buy it, don't just decide to buy it. You are in charge of your happiness. Don't let guilt or obligation tie you to an unhappy situation. Remember, through struggle and happiness are different. You can happily struggle if you have goals, even if that goal is saving $1,000 for a beat-up car to drive. Do not seek riches. If you are comfortable financially and that honestly just means the ability to get by without stressing about it constantly, then you are going to be fine. Wealth is insipid. I spent years of my life chasing down money, and all it got me was a drinking problem and 5 hours of sleep a night because my boss would send my emails at 1 a.m. and expect a reply. None of this shit matters unless you are in genuine trouble, in which case my advice is irrelevant. If, however, you have a nice home of whatever size, the means to feed yourself, and the ability to go and chill out in your chill out location of choice sometimes, then you will be a happier person than the person who brings in £200,000 a year but never sees their partner or gets a good night's sleep. On that note, sleep. Seriously. When the time comes, stop looking at your phone or computer, maybe have a bath, read a book, then crash out at the same time every day. As soon as you have a routine in place, you can maintain it forever, and you will sleep peacefully and awake and rested. The world is a chaotic place, full of pressures and stress. The best we can do is try not to increase them. Peace is better than money. Move out of your parents' home so they can also be 40 and happy with their lives. Start saving at least a small percentage of your income in your 401k, but also save money outside of your 401k. What I am saying is figure out a way to cash flow when you are young so that when you are older you have lots of options and money. Nothing causes more stress than lack of money except maybe an illness. Don't have kids because it's a social norm. Only have kids if you truly want them and are prepared to give up 16 years of your life to them. Don't have children unless you really want children. Don't have more children than you really want. Be true to yourself. It's okay to live a life that no one else understands. Work out. Do it. Or you'll end up fat and tired. Watch out for competitiveness and FOMO. Stop and look around at your life from time to time, see what does and does not need fixing and why. And be honest with yourself about those things. Your intentions matter. There will always be someone out there who will be richer, smarter, more beautiful, more talented, or has more and better stuff than you, and you will always be richer, smarter, more beautiful, more talented, or have more and better stuff than someone else. There's nothing wrong with striving to improve your life, but if you're constantly pushing toward the next fancy gadget or gizmo or the hottest piece of tail, you'll never be satisfied. The old saying from the 1980s of "he who dies with the most toys wins" is baloney. He who dies with the most toys is still dead. Embrace your youth. Embrace not having back pain. Start saving as much money as you can. Go to college, it is never too late. I got my first degree when I was 32. Take better care of your skin. Take exceptional care of your teeth. Start thinking about your future. Invest in 401k or some other means of retirement. Pay your taxes and file them on time. Take lots of pictures. Save them somewhere safe. Store all important legal documents, birth certificate, car title, social security card, etc. in a safe or someplace they can't be lost or destroyed in the event of a catastrophic disaster like a fire, flood or earthquake. Use a condom. Always. Have fun, but be safe. 20 years goes by unbelievably fast. Get on the property ladder, don't have children. People who are 60 and happy with their life. What is your advice to people in their 40s? Don't have kids as soon as you are married. Make sure that you're really compatible before adding children to the mix. I'm 35, but a few tips at this age. 1. Avoid subreddits like "our financial independence." FIRE at all costs is just as toxic as YOLO mentality. There are people seeking FIRE financial independence early retirement who are idiots willing to sacrifice everything: their health, their safety, their friends and family, all so they can finish early. You only get one shot at life. Being miserable for a couple of years is a terrible way to lose the best years of your life. 2. Stop caring so much about what other people think about you. 3. Check in on yourself from time to time. What really makes me happy? Am I working towards the goals I had in my life? 4. Opinions are linear, not static. They can change. It's okay to admit when you are wrong. 1. Trust your nose. 2. Do your thing. You will have plenty of naysayers in your life or from what you see on social media, but if you are true to yourself, you won't regret anything. 3. Put yourself in other people's shoes more often. There are 7B interpretations of what the fuck is going on, and none of them are the same. 4. Travel. If you travel far enough, you might actually find yourself. 5. Love hard, even if there's a chance of getting deeply hurt. And you will. 6. No matter if you are having the shittiest day ever or the best, realize that the fact you woke up that morning and are experiencing whatever this is pretty amazing. There's a direct link between financial security and happiness. Always save money. Don't have children unless you are sure you do it with the right person. Even if you eventually split up, make sure they would be a decent parent, communicative and with clear priorities. Children first. Take care of your teeth and gums or they will ruin your adulthood. Barely 40, but I'll tell you, regret will keep you up at night. Ask that person out, go for that job, leap without a net or you'll be staring at the ceiling realizing it's too late. I understand finances can prevent this. It certainly was an issue for me in a lot of areas. Do not screw your financial future, but still take the chances when you can. Honestly, if you want more career satisfaction, be as positive as possible at work. I mean it. I am cynical by nature and thought everyone around me loved my sarcastic one-off comments. Every meeting I would demonstrate biting wit at the ridiculous corporate bullshit being peddled. If there was failure, I was there to point at it and laugh, and if success, I was always there ready to keep it real for folks. Apparently my attitude and sense of humor were not as appreciated as I thought. Then, disaster struck at work a few years ago and my skills were needed more than ever. Now mind you, I had been passed over a couple of times for promotions. I was salty about that because, and I am being honest here, I was a really good candidate and am regarded quite well in my industry. I was stunned at missing out and my dissatisfaction was not kept out of sight. Well, back to the disaster. For some reason I took this opportunity to shut up and be a positive team member. This particular problem, not virus related, would have allowed me to sit at home, get paid, and do nothing while everything got sorted. A paid 2-week vacation without dipping into PTO. Nice. Let the suits sort it out while I laugh at their awkward attempts to right the ship, snickering with co-workers via personal emails. I was really looking forward to pointing out inconsistencies and ambiguous language in their directives. I was practically giddy with excitement with the prospect of watching them fall on their faces. Instead I put on my big boy pants, went to work, walked in the boss's office and politely asked if there was anything she needed. For 2 weeks I worked my ass off. Did everything I was asked, kept my pie hole shut. Gone were there opportunities for serious humor. I took a lot of initiative, and throughout I was positive and pleasant. At meetings I would offer constructive comments, take notes, and follow up on items even if I wasn't asked. I had become the dreaded try-hard. Then the calls came from everywhere in the organization. How do we do X? Can I do Y? Mind you, in the past I would have provided a slightly sarcastic reminder of my scope of duties, which didn't include doing their job too. Instead I was positive and cheerful. I was happy to help them get through the crisis. After the disaster subsided, I did not revert back to Mr. Point out how stupid everything is, and kept a positive and cheerful demeanor. I kept my comments to myself, and went home and shared my list of comments I could have made with family. I noticed the more positive I became, the more people seemed to want to work with me and the more responsibilities my boss heaped upon me. So I kept at it. And not 1, but 2 promotions came with significant raises, and now I am in a position that I really enjoy. Had I only figured this out in my 20s, I might have gotten where I am more quickly. One caveat: if your work is a suckfest, don't be afraid to move on with a positive farewell email and pointing out how much everyone meant to you. TLDR: be more positive at work.